The Resilient Revolution: How Black Women Entrepreneurs Are Reshaping America's Business Landscape. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm truly honored to stand before you today. Recently, I had the extraordinary privilege of interviewing Brandie Williams, a visionary whose groundbreaking work documenting Black women's entrepreneurial journeys has fundamentally transformed how we understand business creation in America. Brandie isn't just observing this revolution, she's actively amplifying voices that have been systematically silenced for generations. Her relentless dedication to spotlighting these stories has created ripples of change across industries, inspiring countless women to defy overwhelming odds and pursue their entrepreneurial dreams despite formidable systemic barriers. What I learned from my conversation with Brandie Williams shattered many of my own deeply held assumptions about entrepreneurship in America. Today, I want to share these revelations with you because they offer a powerful lens through which to view not just business, but resilience, innovation, and the quiet revolution happening right under our noses. One that challenges everything we think we know about who builds businesses in America and how they do it. Let me start with something that might shock you. Black women are currently driving one of the most significant entrepreneurial booms in American history. They're not just participating in business creation, they're leading it, accounting for nearly half of all new businesses among certain demographics. And they're doing this while facing increasing systemic barriers, including recent rollbacks on DEI initiatives and rising unemployment within their demographic. This isn't just impressive, it's revolutionary. When we typically discuss entrepreneurship in America, we frame it through a particular lens, one that centers venture capital, tech incubators, and Ivy League dropouts building apps in Silicon Valley garages. But this narrative misses perhaps the most compelling story of American business today: the Black woman entrepreneur who builds despite the system, not because of it. The data is staggering. While Black women receive less than 0.35% venture capital funding, that's not a typo, it's one third of 1%. They're starting businesses at a rate that outpaces nearly every other demographic group. They're entering industries historically closed to them, from tech to manufacturing to finance. And they're doing so with a level of optimism that defies logic when you consider the obstacles they face. This isn't just resilience, it's a complete reimagining of what entrepreneurship can and should be. Consider Mahisha Dellinger, founder of Curls. In 2002, Dellinger found herself facing a dual challenge: racial bias in her corporate career and a lack of quality hair products for natural textures. Rather than accepting either situation, she created a solution. Curls wasn't just another beauty brand, it was born from necessity and vision. Dellinger faced the same funding challenges that plague most Black female founders. Less than 2.3% of venture capital dollars go to women founders overall, and the percentage for Black women is even more dismal. Market skepticism toward Black owned beauty brands created additional hurdles, but Dellinger's approach was strategic and community focused. She built trust through direct engagement on social media, leveraged grassroots marketing, and self financed her early growth. Later, she secured strategic partnerships with major retailers. Today, Curl's products appear nationwide at Target, Walmart, and CVS. The company has inspired other minority entrepreneurs while advocating for inclusive beauty standards. Dellinger's journey from being passed over for promotions despite stellar performance reviews to building a multi-million-dollar company exemplifies how Black female founders overcome industry gatekeeping through innovation and persistence. Or take Morgan DeBon, who launched Blavity Inc., a digital media company focused on empowering young Black professionals through content creation and events. As one of few minorities working at Intuit after college, DeBon recognized gaps in mainstream coverage around issues affecting her peers. This became her inspiration. Facing the same funding disparities, remember that less than 0.35% of venture capital goes to Black female founders. DeBon needed to find scalable ways to build community online with limited resources. Her solution? Leveraging technology platforms instead of traditional print media, prioritizing authentic storytelling relevant to millennial audiences, and cultivating partnerships across HBCUs and cultural influencers. The results speak volumes. Blavity grew into one of America's fastest growing digital media companies, serving multicultural millennials, reaching millions monthly through multiple channels. DeBon secured over $9 million in venture funding, launched Afrotech, now the largest gathering in the US focused on African American innovation, and expanded her portfolio into travel and lifestyle verticals. What DeBon accomplished goes beyond business success. She redefined representation within digital publishing and created essential networking opportunities and career pipelines for young professionals. Her story demonstrates how culturally relevant business models can disrupt legacy industries while uplifting marginalized voices. And then there's Denise Woodard of Partake Foods, whose journey began when her daughter was diagnosed with food allergies. Unable to find safe snacks reflecting her family's values, Woodard created them herself. The challenges were immense. Woodard faced repeated rejections from investors who doubted demand among diverse families. She navigated operational hurdles, scaling production, especially as demand grew rapidly during COVID-19 lockdowns when schools closed nationwide. Her approach? Bootstrapping initial product runs using personal savings and crowdfunding campaigns, building consumer loyalty through transparency about ingredients and sourcing, and eventually securing investment from Jay Z's Marcy Venture Partners, becoming the first woman of color founder they funded. Today, Partake sells nationally via Whole Foods Market, Walmart, Target, and Amazon Prime Pantry. Woodard left Coca Cola's executive track to build this company, inspired by her struggles as both a working mom navigating dietary restrictions and an entrepreneur seeking funding amidst persistent bias against minority owned food startups. These stories that Brandie Williams shared with me aren't just inspiring anecdotes. They represent a fundamental shift in how business creation happens in America today. They challenge the notion that entrepreneurial success requires traditional pathways, conventional funding, or mainstream acceptance. What's particularly striking about these journeys is the mindset they reveal. In my conversation with Brandie Williams, she emphasized that Black women entrepreneurs exhibit a unique form of optimism, not naive positivity, but a clear eyed belief in possibility, despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary. This isn't just resilience, it's radical self belief. And it's changing our economy in ways we're only beginning to understand. The narrowing tech gender gap shows that with targeted support and opportunity, women, and especially Black women, are making significant strides into industries historically closed to them. This isn't happening by accident. It's happening because these entrepreneurs are creating their own tables rather than waiting for seats at existing ones. Despite setbacks like increased unemployment rates and declining federal representation due to anti DEI policies, Black entrepreneurs continue to build, innovate, and grow. This mindset is crucial for overcoming structural barriers on their professional journeys. What can we learn from this? What does this mean for how we think about entrepreneurship, innovation, and economic opportunity in America? I believe it means we need to fundamentally reconsider what entrepreneurial success looks like and how it happens. The traditional metrics, venture funding raised, rapid scaling, quick exits, miss the profound impact of businesses built with different values and approaches. It means we need to recognize that some of the most innovative business models are emerging from communities that have been systematically excluded from traditional entrepreneurial pathways. And it means we need to question our assumptions about what drives business creation. For many Black women entrepreneurs, the motivation isn't just profit, it's problem solving, community building, and creating economic opportunity where none existed before. Let me be clear, what's happening with Black women's entrepreneurship isn't just a feel good story about overcoming obstacles. It's a profound challenge to our entire economic system. It forces us to confront uncomfortable questions about who we fund, who we celebrate, and who we exclude from our narratives about innovation and success. The revolution I'm describing demands action from every one of us in this room. If you're an investor, it's time to examine your portfolio and ask why it doesn't reflect the demographic makeup of our country's most active entrepreneurs. If you're a consumer, it's time to be intentional about where you spend your dollars. If you're an entrepreneur yourself, it's time to examine your network and ask who's missing from your circle of advisors and collaborators. And if you're someone who has benefited from traditional pathways to success, it's time to use your privilege to dismantle the very barriers that made your journey easier than others. The stories of Mahisha Dellinger, Morgan DeBon, and Denise Woodard aren't just inspiring, they're instructive. They show us that true innovation often comes from those who have been systematically excluded from resources and opportunities. They demonstrate that resilience isn't just a personal quality, but a revolutionary force that can transform entire industries. So I challenge you today, how will you support this revolution? Will you invest in Black women founders? Will you mentor them? Will you buy from them? Will you advocate for policies that level the playing field? Or will you continue to benefit from a system that excludes some of our most innovative entrepreneurs? The choice is yours. But make no mistake, this revolution will continue with or without you. The only question is whether you'll be on the right side of history. Because the entrepreneurial revolution being led by Black women isn't just changing business, it's changing what we believe is possible. And that might be the most valuable innovation of all. Thank you